was New Year's Eve, New Year's weekend in Cape Sandbass, Florida. It was like obviously night.
I did not go to that.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
I did not. Yeah, that is one of the infamous stories I did not
Oh
partake
my
in. Yeah.
God, brother.
Yeah,
That was
y'all took the bus down there or something like that.
something crazy.
Yeah.
I remember I drove from Oklahoma City at the time
Uh-huh.
out to it. I had packed everything up that I had owned because I was moving to California.
Uh-huh.
And I drove out to Atlanta with a bunch of mushrooms and
Of course.
hung out, and we did the whole, Y2K.
Uh-huh.
And then drove back from Atlanta to Oklahoma City, got all my shit, and then that's when I moved to California.
Wow.
It was 2000.
No shit. Yeah, because the week of July 4th, 2000 is my anniversary week, and
The week of July 4th?
yeah, the
What
week of
year?
July 4th, 2000.
Oh, really?
Yeah, is when I moved to Huntington Beach.
Fuck, we've
Yeah.
been here almost the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
Damn.
Crazy, right? How
All right,
fast it's
well,
gone.
Take a quick pause here. That's crazy, man.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. It's just like it blows my mind that this year is the year that I have lived in California longer. No. Next year. Just as long. It'll be just as long as I did in Philadelphia, my hometown. I left town. I moved out of Philly at 20. No, it's this year. I moved out of
This
Philly
year?
at 20. Yeah, I was down. Yeah, I moved out of Philly at
Wait,
20.
are you going to be 40 this year?
What's that?
Wait, you're older than 40.
Oh, I sure am.
That's why. Wait,
Yeah,
is my
I'm
math messed up?
Yeah.
Because I thought you might have me by a year.
Yeah, I'm 51. I turned
Okay,
I turned 51 March 17th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's coming
Right
up.
around the corner. Yeah.
Shit.
That show that I'm doing on the 20th.
Oh, that's right. Well, let's take a
my,
quick pause. Okay,
yeah,
time out.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
All right, everybody. Thanks for joining whylab. Thank you for making the choice to download this episode. I've got my friend and my brother Ron Bush here today, so
Yes, sir.
we are going to jump right into it. We kind of already did, but I just want to say thank you for downloading that, so checking it out. This guy, Ron Bush, is here. He is, I don't even know what to say about this man, currently up and coming, rising comedian, still
Yes.
rising
Getting
comedian.
there. Yeah.
DJ, unique, just a all around cool cat. And we were reminiscing about how we met and sort of forgot that I was going to do a podcast. So we just jumped right in. So thanks, Ron, for coming over and doing this.
Absolutely. No, I really appreciate you having me. And it's been a while since we've caught up. And there is there's been a lot going on, man.
My God.
Know? Congratulations on the podcast. And
Thank you.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
man. Thank you for having me over. I'm really, really stoked about it. And, it's one of those things like, we've known each other. We were just talking. We've known each other at least like 20, 25 years, right? And we live in LA and we see each other like once every like 6, 7 months. Like it was a year or something like that. It's the same thing with Jamie, Damien, and all them. Anyway, our other friends. But
Our other friends.
You get it. You know what I mean? Pete,
It's, and as the irony of, you just mentioned Pete, was he just texted right as we came in.
Yeah.
And he's my connection to you, and that's how we met. Again, Ron Bush, for those that didn't catch the full introduction, is here, and we go all the way back to Atlanta.
Yeah, the old Atlanta days.
And a common friend of mine from college, Peter Lovo. For anybody that's listening to this and knows Peter Lovo,
That's hilarious.
you can know how Ron and I connected, and we were kind of reminiscing about the late 90s in Atlanta, this thing or a party or something, and then we made it out here. And I didn't realize that we had moved here the same year.
Yeah.
And what
2000.
2000. And you were just saying that you had lived here longer than...
The same amount of time. I mean, I moved out of. I was born and raised in Philly.
Born and raised in Philly.
And I moved from Philly at 20. And I've been officially, as of the week of 4th of July, I'll have been in, excuse me.
Yeah.
I'll have been in LA 20 years. In California, 20 years.
And a little stop in Atlanta for almost a decade then.
Right. Yeah, 6.5 years.
That's where my math messed me up earlier.
Yeah, 6.5 years.
Forgot about Atlanta.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
But tell you, Atlanta was some crazy times.
Yeah.
Dude, that was... that's interesting. I wouldn't mind unpacking that little time of our lives, because what was that? 20s, early 20s.
Yeah, 20s.
Mid-20s.
Yeah, mid-20s, yeah. we're just wild, just wild, and I'm just I'm just able to I'm just I've been I'm a storyteller with my stand up, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
and I've been putting off using some of these stories, because they're just so fucking wild.
Okay.
They're just rock star status.
They are. Well, this is no hold bards here, brother. So you can break a window in the hotel room. Mr. Rockstar.
yeah, right. Yeah, no, I did. Yeah, I'm because with every good joke, there has to be a purpose behind the joke. It can't just be like, oh man, we're fucking partying, doing all types of cocaine. It has to be like, okay, well, there has to be a purpose to it. And so. First, I have to choose which story where do you start? You know what I mean? It's like
well, Atlanta in the '90s in itself.
Yeah.
If you had spent any time there, I think that is part of the story because
Backstreet.
It's kind of a crazy city in itself. It's gone through so many transformations. It was right after the Olympics too, right?
Yeah.
What
Olympics
year was
the Olympics were '96? Yeah.
Yeah, and there was some crazy event that happened.
Yeah, the bombing.
There.
Yeah.
So
we were.
It was a crazy time.
Yeah,
down there, man.
During the '96 during the '96 Olympics, that's when we had Kaya. There's this club called Kaya that we ran, and it used to be an old grocery store. Just to give you the size, there's a large building.
Oh God.
Old grocery store, so not huge but large, and we got it to be in the number one club in Atlanta. And during the Olympics. Because we were bringing like all the big DJs in and everything like that, and during the Olympics, as the athletes competed after they lost or won, they'd want to go out, and so they were all coming to this club. You know what I mean? And I mean, you want to right. You want to talk about just like
I've heard about the athletic.
Oh my God, they're horny as all hell.
That's what I've heard.
It's insane, and they want drugs, and they want to party, and they want to have a good time, and you know what I mean. And it was just ridiculous. It was ridiculous.
I've heard that the athlete area, I don't know what you call it in the Olympics, a few years back, right after Tinder, the dating app came out. Apparently, like the app at that location where all the athletes were like they broke the app or something because they were all trying to hook up each other.
I wouldn't doubt it.
I couldn't even imagine the amount of just angst being in the Olympics, man.
Yeah, and they don't like it. My understanding is like before there's a certain period of time before you perform, they don't want you to have sex because it keeps you more, focused or more, that testosterone is within you, kind of a thing. You know what I mean? But yeah, Atlanta was ridiculous. The Olympics were fun. I've on my bucket list, I can acclaim Olympians.
Yeah.
So it's
What was if you spent almost a decade there? What was the greatest thing you took away from Atlanta? What's the best thing about that? What that city give you, man? Like the best thing that's...
The two things that the city gave me, one, and I don't want to sound cheesy, but friends.
Yeah.
Guys like you and Pete and Damien and Kev. We're, Jesus Christ, man, we've been friends for 25 years.
Yeah.
And, being able to, sorry I'm getting over a cold, guys.
Yeah.
Being able to, and I've been smoking too many blunts. Why, don't be concerned, it's the blunts. It's not, it's not coronavirus yet.
It's legal, man.
But it's like, just really just having these long, how many stories and good times and everything like that.
Memories.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, people who have, long-term friends like that, things. It's a show. It's a sign of our character as well. You know what I mean? It's like,
longevity in relationships, man. That's especially when you go through decades because people change so much.
Right. Absolutely.
You're like, damn, and you still stick it out.
Absolutely. So there's that, and Atlanta was where. That was where I really just kind of came out of the closet and went wild, and that was my UBU, me do me kind of a thing, you know what I mean? And I just had so much fun there, through, I was in the tech industry at the time. I was selling semiconductors to manufacturers. I had my business going. I was making,
good money,
just insane money. Yeah, and helping Damien, throw parties and doing all that crazy shit that we were doing back then, and then the whole 9 yards. It was just a wild time and a lot of fun, and I would not trade a second of it. I think that it definitely, there's a lot of wisdom that came from living like that.
Yeah, there is.
You know what I mean?
Okay, well, there's you sub-series that question, like, what's the great wisdom that came from that period? Because I'm with you so far, man. Yeah. I'm with you. I was still living in Oklahoma. I went out, I remember in 1 year, like 12-month period, I think I went to Atlanta 4 times. Or maybe it was a 13-month period or something. Eventually, I went out there and stayed for almost 3 months. That was maybe 2 months. That was that whole Y2K New Year's trip.
Right.
Moved to Cali. But I'm with you on the first two. But then when you pack a little wisdom on top of that, relationships, and then just wild times and good times and the best of times.
I think you really learn human nature. I really learned human nature, and drug abuse is an interesting thing, right? Because you're partying all the time and everything like that, but it also, you're seeing these personalities and these issues and all these things be just laid bare, stripped away of any
inhibition.
Inhibition, or ability to shroud,
to shred it or to hide it.
Right. It's just it's just like it's full on just disaster mode, right? And
I could,
and so just from that alone, I learned so much about people, and personality types,
the diversity of just how
and how similar
we all are.
Yeah, how similar.
That's great. Well, that's good wisdom, Ron Bush. That's good wisdom.
I have my moments. You know what I mean? I have my moments.
It's good wisdom for the kids out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is a little bit of a serenity to, I'm not abashed. I've had my fun with some drugs, and there is that sense of, especially with some of the hallucinogen stuff, like mushrooms, for example, even acid. I think I had acid a few times, but it's it's that coming out.
No comment.
Yeah, where you're, you kind of, that your perspective of reality has changed.
Yeah.
And it's how you and what you do with it. Sort of, and during those moments when that is changing,
right,
and when you're with other people, that's where some of my great relationships during those moments, because you do get to people unveil, so to speak, their true selves, and it's good and bad.
Oh, yeah.
But it's an interesting time. Yeah, interesting, man. That's good stuff, Ron Bush. How about fast forward, man? You got birthday coming up. There's some current activities in your life that you're stoked about.
Yeah.
Was it 17th, 15th?
My birthday's March 17th.
17th. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's at least throw the promo out there for all the kids that are listening.
Right,
March 17th. Where's it at?
Well, okay, well, the event is March 20th.
Okay.
So my birthday is March 17th, St. Patrick's Day. But we're having the event March 20th at the Dojo at Sycamore Taverns. The entire upstairs. It's a really beautiful place.
What's the address?
Great lineup. We're gonna ask you to Google it. Sycamore Tavern.
Sycamore Tavern.
Right there in Hollywood on Sunset and La Brea. And there's plenty of parking.
Just Uber there. Have a cocktail.
You know how it is. It's going to be a great night. We have a great lineup. Fifi Dosh, who's formerly Joe, which I just love watching his journey as he's transitioning, and so much happy. I'm just dying to hear his stand up, hear her stand up, because it was insane beforehand. So this is gonna be great. Mike Mortor, Jeff Keller are co-hosting. And they're just you'll enjoy those guys.
Oh man, okay.
They're two of my best friends in comedy. We got Niles Abston, just shot young funny ass nigga. Just shot his special a few weeks ago.
Okay.
And
you'll just be coming down off your birthday 3 days, 3 days post.
Yeah, Leah, Leah Good. She changed her Facebook thing to Leah Goodwoman, and now I can't remember her last name.
Leah Goodwoman.
Yeah, but she's an amazing comedian.
Right on.
So just looking forward to that. The 20th.
That's gonna be
sweet. Redgrave Jones is the musical guest. So we're having
Redgrave Jones.
Yeah.
What kind of music is that?
White women singing with long, gorgeous red hair and a beautiful, powerful voice.
Guitars, any kind of instruments,
I think she's bring a keyboard is what I think she's going to do this one. Yeah,
sweet.
But she's really talented. Really, I don't know how to describe it.
That's a cool name. I mean,
bluesy, soul-y, kind of a vibe. I started touring, ladies and gentlemen. I've been touring for
we were going to do this a couple months ago. We started talking about doing this a couple months ago, and you said you had to go out and do some shows. Where have you been?
Dude, I've been all over the place now.
Jeez.
My go-tos as of recent for like the past year and a half, I've really been focusing on the West Coast.
Yeah.
And so Portland and Salt Lake City and Boise and Reno and San Francisco and San Diego.
Fuck yeah.
Vegas and I don't know if I said Salt Lake City. Salt Lake City's great.
Yeah.
And then I've done like Charleston, South Carolina, and Boston, and Providence, Rhode Island, and Portland, Maine, and that whole thing. And then I'm going to Atlanta this year and doing my hometown Philly finally.
Oh my gosh.
This year for sure.
How do you make that transition? Because that's kind of, I mean, you've been doing stand up out here for a hot minute. I mean, let's not get past the hustle. You hustled, man. You've hosted events and been putting things on. I mean, we talk about Atlanta and we kind of jest about it, but the real skill that you come out of that, besides all the feel good relationship, is you know how to throw events, you know how to promote parties and get things done. So you've hustled out here for a minute, for years, and getting ready to go on tour. That's badass, dude. So how do you transition from working it and hustling to getting to that?
I some great comedians, kind of advise me on the best ways to get out there and start touring, and you just the
mentors.
I would say just friends. You know what I mean? That you don't want to see me do well, and vice versa, kind of a thing. The great comedians are great because they. We are like a community. There's some haters, but it is a community. And. But basically it's you choose a city, go there.
What? Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to be booked.
Yeah. No, you could. Well, if you don't have credits yet, which I didn't have credits. I don't have like a TV show as of yet. So without a TV show, the bookers are. Here's the thing,
that's just a different side. That's a different way of hustling. You're showing up.
Yeah, you have to.
You're like, here I am.
Yeah, because what happens is you call them up and you're like, hey, my name's Ronbush. I'm a comedian in LA. They're like, all right, cool. Send me your tape. All right, cool. So you email them the tape. You call them, follow back up in like a week. You're like, oh, having a chance to look at it.
Yeah.
Call them back and go, oh yeah. Yeah, kind of easier. When are you coming here? And they don't want to book you. They're not going to pay you until you show up. I mean, because so many people call them like, oh, jerk them off and like, I'm coming. Don't show up, and so they're
changed.
And they're to their defense, they're a small market comedy club. Their job is to make people laugh, and that means you need comedians and
keep the stage full.
Right, yeah, and keep it fresh. You know, and not the same comedians with the same jokes. And when you book somebody from out of town and not showing up, it's kind of like a dick move because they could have had somebody else.
Yeah. Damn.
And they need it, you know what I mean? Because they, you know,
That's just another straight hustle. So
yeah.
you're paying for all this stuff.
So you go out, you go out and you meet the club owner. You know, you call at least this is what I've done. You know, you go out, you meet the club owner or the booker, you know, and they're gonna put you up, you know, and you just fucking destroy.
You're like, dude, I showed up. I'm here.
Yeah, they just
I called you.
And they're like, yeah, we'll give you 15 minutes right now. You want to go up now? We'll put you 15. Absolutely. You just go up and you fucking destroy. And as long as you have a good set, they're gonna be like, dude,
come back.
How much time do you have? You know, you'll ask you like, oh, dude, don't worry, I got like an hour 45 minutes worth of material. Oh, okay, yeah.
That's awesome.
Then you can start having a little bit more of a conversation, and then at the same time, the comedians that work at the comedy club that just saw you saw your set, they're going to want to book and pay you to do shows that they're doing locally because
networking too.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. Everything has its sweet science, its community, and things like that. So I'm not uncomfortable on stage, but I am not a comedian. I mean, I am not funny. But I know that the stories that I've heard from it's one of the hardest hustles, man. So I admire that in what you have to do, but it's cool to have you sit here and say, you know, that it's just a tight-knit community, and
it is.
It's probably a pretty small circle. Sometimes you're running into the same people even. And
you know, people say that it's like, oh, it's a high. I don't think it's any more of a hustle than any other job you take seriously.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you're going to be a great scientist or a great lawyer or you know, one of the best builders, construction, you know, whatever, you know, you're busting your ass, you know.
Period.
You're busting your ass, you know, and you know, and it's technical shit, and you know, I think what it is people are naturally more afraid to do what a stand-up comedian does, you know.
That's probably a fair statement.
And so, and you know, and then the act of making jokes funny to a person who's not a stand-up comedian is probably really brutal, but to a stand-up comedian, it's part of the process.
It's just part of the job.
Yeah, it is what it is. Yeah. You know, it's just. You know, and that's how you know I think if you ask me what makes a stand-up comedian, I was like, maybe it bothers them a little bit, but ultimately, you know.
Yeah. Well, when did you know you were going to be you are a standing comedian?
The first time I did stand-up. The second time I did stand-up.
The second time. Where was the first time?
The first time was at the Comedy Store, like back in 2000.
So the one up here.
Yeah, back in like 2008. And me and Jamie Banfield, me and Jamie went to the Comedy Store.
He didn't get up and do that.
No, he didn't.
Oh, I was like, Jamie's
I did. I went up and I was so fucking terrified. You know what I mean? I almost shit my fucking pants. I never went back. You know, and
then the second time.
And then the second time, my boyfriend broke up with me because he was straight again. Right. You
straight
heard that?
Guys.
Well,
what are we doing over here?
You're right. You know, what are you doing wrong, right? No. But yeah, me and Sean broke up, and my business partner, had a major medical situation happen, and for some reason, stand up was just calling me. And I've been doing sketch and improv for so long, and I wasn't happy with it.
It's like a foundation kind of thing.
It was, you know, I was terrified of stand up. I guess is the most I can say. I was terrified of it.
But you knew you were drawn to it, though.
Yeah. And so there's that saying that what you're scared of can be your greatest strength. I was like, fuck this shit. I'm not, you know, I gotta do this, you know?
Yeah.
And I went to this mic that used to be on Sunset called Rock Paper Coffee, and there's some great comedians there.
That's
awesome.
Some
friends of mine were there, and
you killed it.
I froze. I froze. I wrote like fucking 40 pages. Like I wrote like a script. I wrote like like something that some type of like Shakespearean novel of like all this text of stand up I wrote. And I tried to memorize like 3-4 pages, knowing that I only had 5 minutes for the mic. So I'm like, so let's hear all the work, right? And it's like anybody who's with stand up comedian knows this is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
And so I get up on stage. And I'm so terrified, I freeze, and I fucking and I lost it. I just the fucking anger just exploded up. Like, what the fuck? And I just started ranting about how I fucking can't even fucking believe that I would fucking freeze trying to do stand up after as long as I've been doing sketch and improv. And I'm ranting and talking all the shit. And then I started remembering the stuff that I wanted to say, so I started throwing this stuff in there. And
it worked.
Dude, I had a fucking blast. I couldn't believe it.
God.
Oh my god. Yeah. After that, it was game over. Game over.
Holy shit.
Game over. It was like I tell people, it was like the first time I kissed a dude. It was like, how did I not know?
Well, that sounds like a good time to take a break, and you've thrown it out now a couple of times about kissing dudes and breaking up. And, and you said you came out in Atlanta.
Atlanta. Yeah.
So let's tap into that a little bit. Let's take a little bit of a break. I'm your host, Michael Flowers. I'm here with my good friend and my brother, Ron Bush.
Mike Flowers, Ron Bush.
We'll be back in about 5.
Yeah, for sure.
This last year, well, I just hit February 15th. I left my job. I was on guarantee. I was on a 6-month guarantee, 9-month guarantee. 6 months in, I was like, I gotta go. I'm not happy. I was making my 6 figures and been in medical devices for a decade and a half, and I just was not. I'd get up every morning and I was a slave to my phone, and I just picked up a new territory, and I was driving all over. So I spent a lot of time in my car, and I was having to put my dog in daycare, and I was flying all over to train. And
that sucks.
I love devices, and I love spine surgeons and orthopedic spine. I love that whole med device world, but somehow that environment and the boss that I had at the time, my manager, and the way that he was motivating me and the way that I was motivating myself was just not healthy. And it took like a little spiritual awakening kind of for me to be like, okay, so I had to move in a friend, roommate, do the Airbnb in the back, and kind of change my lifestyle a little bit. Yeah. But part of it was exposing more and being more vulnerable and seeking for answers in others, and just sit down and trying to not really put so much pressure on myself and just sort of live with the, hey, this is what I'm doing. Anyway, hey, welcome back. I'm your host, Michael Flowers.
I'm Ron Bush.
Ron Bush.
Yes, sir.
This is the back half of whylab podcast, and we were just shutting it down, talking about your favorite stand-up. Like what got you going into it.
Yeah.
And you kind of started that story with you broke up with your boyfriend at the time.
Every time, yeah.
And then it kind of triggered my memory of you saying that you had came out of the closet back in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And just for...
I came out before then, but I think with Atlanta was where, full acceptance happened, where, I started dating guys, having boyfriends and, living openly and, that whole thing. 23 was when I moved to Atlanta.
From Philly?
No, I moved indirectly from. I moved from Philly to Detroit, from Detroit to Florida, Florida to Chicago, Chicago to Atlanta. I was in the tech industry.
Wow.
I moved around a lot.
Man. All and within a couple of years?
Yeah, within a few years. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Jeez. Yeah. And then you landed in Atlanta for a while.
Yeah.
And we kind of opened with that, so we all know how much fun
that
time was.
Yeah.
When did you know that that choice was coming? Or I guess for a straight guy, you already knew all the time, right? So
I didn't.
Stupid question.
No, actually, I didn't. I thought I was straight for a long time.
Really?
Up until my late teens. At the time, homophobia was very powerful. Now, my
Sure.
mother's Jamaican, so there's a lot of violence toward gays. It's just like, it's unthinkable that, you just rationalize, why you're attracted to this dude or that dude and all this other stuff. It's not, you know, um, shame and internalized homophobia and, low self-esteem and all these things really, kind of determine how a person's able to address some really personal things about themselves,
Yeah.
like sexual orientation, and or even just sexuality, which is completely different, different things. And especially today, guys, in particular straight guys. I would hate to be straight. I was joking with some. I'm being dead serious.
Oh my God.
I was joking with some friends of mine, some comedians the other day. I hate to be straight. You guys, it's just worthless. It's beat, dude. It's like God, the culture is skewed, and the between the white privilege and the toxic masculinity mixed with the collapse of the socioeconomic fabric that we have, and equality is happening, so white males feel threatened by all this shit that's going on, right?
That is some serious truth.
It's just all this stuff is going on, and and that women bear the brunt of that, and so as a gay guy, I know how guys are fucking crazy. We're pigs. You know what I'm saying? And when and some guys are fucking nuts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And women have to deal with that shit, and straight dudes don't. And so, and because, similar to systemic racism, because it's been allowed to fester and linger for so long, it's like, white males, white straight males in particular, have been kind of like boxed out of the conversation. You know what I mean? You have to be woke, and there's no place, there's no place right now for people to be politically incorrect because they're ignorant, but they're trying to improve themselves. In other words, the definition of ignorant is not knowing, right?
Sure.
And so if a person doesn't know something, then, how they address it is going to be clumsy, like a child or something. It's gonna be clumsy and can offend. Now, the question is, I think nowadays is, especially as I tour, some people say some of the most offensive shit you'd ever fucking imagine.
The audience too.
People know, when you're talking to people afterwards.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When I was, when you just hear some of the most ridiculous things, and you have this ignorance, towards these, issues. And so instead of allowing myself to get, all butthurt, he said something that hurt my feelings. I don't give a fuck what they had.
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck what they said? Who cares? Are they paying your bills? No.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If they're getting violent, if they're threatening, totally different situation. But just because somebody says something ignorant,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna honor that with my emotion.
Well, fair. Well, that's fair enough.
It's just trash.
Yeah.
It's just complete.
Does that happen a lot after shows?
I was happy. I'm actually writing it. I'm writing an op-ed about me dating this white supremacist. Yeah. It's Salt Lake City.
What?
Yes, I dated. I dated. He's been reincarcerated, but
Oh my God.
but
That's not what I thought was gonna come out of your mouth.
it's
But then again, like just about anything goes here with ronbush.
Yeah. So I'm writing this op-ed about that experience.
How long ago was that?
It's been going on for the past like 2 years.
Oh shit. So
Yeah,
this
and
is-
it hasn't been. Well, I haven't. I haven't talked to him like 7 months because he got reincarcerated.
And so, like,
Probation violation. Where I'm not going to get it. He's he's yeah. I just it's an interesting situation.
He's doing his own thing.
If you had told me, like I said in the article, if you had told me that I would have feelings for, be compassionate for, and protective over a white supremacist, and somebody who literally has Aryan Nation swastika tattoos all over his body, and like literally was in the KKK, literally, one of these dudes. You see what I'm saying?
What does that tell you about yourself? What? I'm confused a little. So.
Yeah, I'll tell you the story. I'm on Grindr, in Salt Lake City, and this dude starts hitting me up, good looking, blue collar dude, he's fucking fine and shit, and he's funny, and he's like, I'm just a country boy, I got a country boy with anger problems, you know what I'm saying? Shit, he remind me of half these niggas that I used to be banging back in Atlanta and Georgia. He was just redneck, man, I get it, And
I'm redneck, but I'm gay.
And we're not, and he just told me how much, man, I love black man, and we don't get a lot of them out here, you know what I'm saying? Me and you gonna have to meet, you know what I'm saying? Right, it's hilarious, you know what I'm saying? It's hilarious. And so we met, we got along, we smoked some weed. To not get too graphic, once we started to go there and he starts taking off his shirt, he has this huge fucking swastika going across his fucking goddamn ribcage and all these fucking Aryan tattoos. And I was like, what the fuck is going on?
God.
And you could just see the look. He was like, oh, I know, man.
What?
Yeah.
That's some crazy shit.
Yeah, oh, dude.
Sorry, that's like a scene out of a movie, dude.
Yeah. It's a really touching story, actually. He's from an area where, all you could do is really sell coke. Raising around biker gangs with heroin and coke, and, meth and shit, and that was kind of the nom du jour, right? That's what you did.
That's what he had available.
And so in and out of jail kind of a thing, no good schools, abject poverty, just like, you have in the inner schools. It's just exactly the same as you have like in some of the inner cities, right? And so, he would have never gotten the tattoo if he didn't get put in jail, because you have to get the tattoo to survive, because you have to join one of the gangs,
Yes, you do.
And it wasn't until, and he always I almost cried. He almost put me in tears. He was like I always felt like I was broken. I was in prison. One time I was in prison and I saw these black guys, start to shower, and I started to get an erection, and I was like, oh my God, I'm fucking gay. Kind of, he realized that he was attracted to men. It wasn't, he'd been living in denial.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? And so the moment he got out, down Salt Lake City. That's hilarious. Yeah.
Man, what an interesting story.
Yeah.
So you're writing that piece right now? Like, is that gonna you're gonna put it out?
Yeah, I definitely am. Yeah.
Oh man,
definitely am.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I look forward to that. When's that gonna?
I'm in third draft right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm in third draft right now. So I'm writing it in two different formats, well, three different ways for for different places I want to submit it, and I have a writing editor, copywriter, or what do you want to call it, helping with it. And,
I was about to ask, where does that end up? Like a website or?
Yeah, I would like to. I'd love like a Huffington Post or New York Times.
Sweet. Have you done that before?
This is my first time.
Oh, okay.
First time, yeah.
God, well, that seems brave of you.
It's I think it's important. It's what I learned.
What do you mean?
Here's. You never would expect that you would be able to have the type of conversation I had. I mean, again, when you meet somebody who is of that nature, that as an African American and as a gay man, those are two really, really charged things.
You immediately feel something, right?
Absolutely. I mean, it's just so fucking powerful, the emotions that you're dealing with, are really complex and fucked up.
But you chose to dig into his story and kind of
Yeah, it was because it was so intriguing.
Yeah.
I mean, you're a former KKK member who loves black men. This is hilarious. I'm a comedian. I mean, this is. I mean, you can't write that. This is fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
I want to know everything. I did.
Yeah.
Dude, we talked for hours. I want to know. We became friends. Every time I would go back to Salt Lake City, he would meet me in my hotel.
So just platonic friends now, or do you still?
No, we fucking every time. You know what I'm saying? I'm making Malcolm X proud, baby. Let me tell you. Are you kidding me? Shit, nigga. That's why I'm kind of disappointed he's back in jail, nigga. I mean, goddamn. And there is, and like I'm saying in the article, there is this fetishization to it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like just the when you're dominating a dude with that tattoo is like really powerful.
I didn't even think about it like that.
It's insane. And by the way,
I have no idea.
And by the way, something that happened maybe 5 years ago, I'm banging this dude, obviously because I'm gay. And he spits in my face and calls me nigger. Okay. Right. And so it would get more rough.
You would get more rough with him?
Right.
Okay.
That was the purpose behind it. You see what I'm saying?
That was the first time it
happened. And I thought that was like some weird shit that this dude did. So I'm telling some of the comedians, about this story, because the full story is so insane. I can't even begin to. It's just grade A fucking what the fuck, and. Like his brother walks in while we're fucking.
God!
Yeah, it's right. It's just.
Right.
You're
very graphic. Man.
Yeah. That's and I don't and that's what I'm saying. It's like I don't want it to be about the sex. I want it to be about the relationship. I want it to be about this dude who was raised in just like the most abhorrent conditions to be able to when you're a gay man, and
it's oppression,
and him right. It's horrible, and having to find himself in that, you know what I mean, and having to realize that his family got it wrong. You know what I'm saying? He's 27 years old right now, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
He's not an old guy here. And being raised in that environment, and having to have these realizations. Dude, I woke that boy. I was giving him books and magazines to read and articles. Just like woken that motherfucker. I mean, I remember. Yeah, it was a beautiful.
He was
process.
having breakthroughs.
Oh, dude, it was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. Yeah, it was absolutely. It's a beautiful story. I think it's really sweet. It's really, really sweet. And. Like one of my favorite. I was telling a buddy of mine. One time he FaceTimes me. I was going to Boise.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, I'm gonna meet you. The motherfucker drove from Salt Lake City to Boise to hang with you for the weekend. Right? That's what I'm saying. Romantic shit, man. You know what I'm saying? My bro, what you think? You act like white supremacists don't have a fucking soft spot? Don't have a soft spot? You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? Just a little Aryan
You
nation.
act like they have a Aryan nation.
Yeah, just a little Aryan nation. Yeah, that's all it is.
I'm gonna drive down to Salt Lake City, see my boy.
Yeah, when he drove to Boise to come see me, he calls me. He had read something I sent to him. And he goes, and he's obviously I'm a comedian. He goes, all right, Ron, look, I ain't gonna be a racist no more, but I'm gonna be an Aryan though. I'm gonna be.
What is that? What is that? What's the iron? What does that even mean?
It's right. It doesn't. It's
the psychology of this, I think, is what's the most intriguing.
Yeah. Him realizing, and make
there's certain things he'll hold on to and say, hey. If we are looking at like nature versus nurture, something like that, environmental forces, whatever your choices are, whatever kind of pressure or oppression really is enacted on him during that time, he's like, man, it's like the Pareto principle. Yeah. I'm 80-20 rule. Yeah. I'm 80% woke, 80% woke, but I'm still just because I'm here, man. These are my people. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
interesting.
But we just laughed about.
I love that story, man.
It's some of the funniest stuff. I've had some insanely funny laughs with that dude. because it's just, you know, because when someone has when you're so blind to a truth, you know, and if you're able to look at it as it is funny, you know what I mean? It's hilarious, you know, and, you know, there's been, you know, just, you know, he was telling me, this is one time we're having pillow talk. Okay, so this is right.
All right, pillow talk time.
This is pillow
talk with Ron Bush.
Pillow talk with Ron Bush. So we're talking. And again, his brother walked in on us
recently
while we were doing the wild thing, and I'm not just not even going to paint that picture. Just you know, it's just, again, Malcolm X would be fucking proud. Just like. All right, well,
okay.
I said fuck the white man, but next level. You know, but and so I was like, how's your brother doing? He go, oh man, you ain't gonna believe this motherfucker's dating a goddamn Mexican.
Oh my God, what's going on in Salt Lake City, man?
He's dating a goddamn Mexican. I was like, dude. I was like, dude, you literally just got fucked by a black dude.
He just says it like that with disdain, though.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what's and he's like, oh man, I know. God damn it.
That's so wild, man.
Yeah,
it's the psychology of that is limited. Now, at first, when you kind of started going off with your rant and you mentioned the ignorance, and I was like, man, he's practiced this or something. I was wondering where you're going with that. Yeah. And I love the story, man.
Yeah.
It is sympathetic. It's hard not to hear you tell that and be like, oh man, that's kind of a sweet relationship.
Yeah.
But there is sort of the realism of like, this is kind of wild.
It's insane. And again, I am not trying to be by no stretch of the imagination some type of apologist or, you know, whitewashing of history. Or any of that shit, you know, ignorance and bad behavior. But, you know, this really put in perspective what we're dealing with in this country. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know,
that's big. Well, that's heavy.
You know what I'm saying? You know, take away the sexual orientation issue. You know, and, you know, I asked him, you know, what he thought about white privilege. And, man, the look on his fucking face just turned to a scowl. I don't got no white privilege. You know what I'm saying? It's
but you're white.
but he doesn't. You know, and yeah. You know, and here's the thing. I thought of it this way, and as I like to say, socioeconomic disparity. That's what he's dealing with. Okay, that's the mumps. Systemic race. That we'll call that the mumps.
The mumps,
right? We'll call systemic racism the measles. You see what I'm saying? They're two very different things with similar issues. You see what I'm saying? Whatever you want to do, you know, whatever. I don't know.
Interesting analogy.
Yeah, it's just an analogy, but you know, one's the mumps, one's the measles, and when you devalue a person's fears and feelings and beliefs, they're going to be at least defensive. And you're not going to get anywhere in trying to plant a seed of change. But when you have the conversation and use a personal story, something that happened to me and how I learned and grew from it. You know, so then you're giving a different perspective on how to look at things, how to deal. Oh, I have another option. And then you just let it go because they'll figure it out. You know, you don't need to call them stupid and all this other stuff. They'll figure it out. You know, people are smart. You know, they just need to be given the right information and the space for them to process it in their own way. You know.
Man, that's some enlightening stuff there, Ron Bush. You jest very often, but You are a highly intelligent and well thought out man.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you. I have a new dating pool. I'm totally full on. I'm full white supremacist now. You know what I mean?
You're like, that's my number one thing on Grindr now. Just be like, fuck it, I need swastika stickers on your abdomen.
Yeah, man.
I need bathroom selfies with swastika stickers, please. Well, for anybody that is listening, one of the cameras went out. That was mine. So we'll just call this, we're winding down time, Ron Bush.
Yeah.
What I like to do at the end of the podcast is this thing called the Final Four.
Yes.
It's kind of a rapid fire.
Okay.
But it's like one sentence or less. You can answer the question, and I'm going to fire off.
Okay.
The Final Four questions.
And by the way, once again, thank you for having me. This has been fun.
Dude.
The look on your face when I was telling you that I've been banging a white supremacist was just priceless.
I don't even. I'm like, what is he? Where are we going? Like, what? I'm like, it's Ron Bush. I don't know what this is happening.
So on my bucket list, that is Olympians, 2 silver medalists, and 1 bronze. Okay, is what I got.
Okay.
And
shit.
Yeah,
I didn't ask.
Me, Jamie, Angela, me and Angela and Jamie and a few of us, we actually had a competition to see how many Olympians, because we were the ones giving them the VIP seating. And we had the good cocaine and ecstasy. Thank you very much.
Oh my.
But anyway,
God.
I digress. So, and
who was the winner? Well, fuck.
I can't remember. I think I can't remember who won. I can't remember.
Imagine.
Yeah. I can't
God, if you were going both ways.
Yeah, I think it was what was the name? The Keeney, the door guy. I think the Keeney, the door guy was the one who won. Anyway,
two silvers.
Two silvers and a bronze.
2 silvers and a bronze. Congrats, Ron Bush.
And a white supremacist.
Anyways, 2 silvers and bronze and a white supremacist. The show notes on this are going to be amazing. So, all right. Question number 1, Ron Bush. What is the least expensive thing you could not do without?
The least expensive thing I could not do without my writing book.
Good answer. What's the last thing you've lied about? Question number 2.
Oh, this is a tough one. Why I didn't have time to meet this guy on Grindr because I met this other guy on Grindr. I just stop asking questions. You know, you're asking questions. I'm just right. It happened. Okay. You know, he took to.
Question number 3.
Thank you.
If you met your younger self today, what would make them happy and sad about you today?
Sad that I don't have the big tech company that I thought I would have. Happy that I'm a stand-up comedian and that I figured it out.
Awesome.
Right.
That's awesome.
Right.
Last question. Question number 4. What do you think makes a person the most attractive, and how do you rank on that?
Ooh, that's an interesting question. To answer it backwards, I think looks are objective, you know? And so I don't think I'm an ugly dude. I don't think I'm a pretty dude. I don't know where to rank myself on that, you know?
Okay.
Because it's so objective. Sure. You know what I mean? You know, what makes somebody, there are features, obviously, you know, I think everybody has their types, you know what I mean? That they're into, sure, aesthetically speaking. But I think that for me, definitely personality, intelligence. You know what I'm saying? The more intelligent the person, the more I'm intrigued. You know what I mean?
I love that.
Yeah,
I can align with you on that. I think intelligence is super sexy.
It's incredibly. It's a massive, massive turn on.
Yeah.
You know, and anybody that I've dated seriously has been it's a very intelligent person.
Got to be challenged a little bit, and if you're not learning something from somebody else or having some sort of enlightening conversation, then it's boring, stagnant, and it's just the nature of it. Especially if just kind of crave that stuff.
Right.
So.
Absolutely. When you know, I like to talk about some deep ass shit. You know what I mean? And you know,
that is literally should be the name of this podcast. Ronbush, deep ass shit.
Yeah. And, but you know what I mean? It's like if the person's not able to hold that conversation,
oh yeah,
it's like, oh
yeah. Well, dude, it's been all over the place. It's been really just a blessing to have you here, man.
Thank you, man. Like I said,
appreciate you coming by.
Thank you for having me, and I hope that some of the listeners out there are able to take something from this.
Well, yeah. Thanks for being open and sharing. You're never one for a lack of words, but sharing personal stories sometimes is not the easiest thing for everyone. And that's what I hope to be able to share in this space, is that it's okay for people to be themselves, and we're all awesome and weird and fucked up and cool, all of our, and it's cool to talk about those things.
It's okay.
And it's okay, and be vulnerable and share it, because everything that we see on Instagram and on our phone is just, it's the little bits and pieces that you don't really get to know about someone else. And you started that too. You even said one of the things that you liked about the wisdom you took away from Atlanta, and I really latched on. I remember that was just the different types of people and learning and seeing, and because that's real life. Learning from real life is, you gain so much more wisdom than some of the stuff or the tools that we have nowadays. And so,
I agree with you.
I'm trying to put stuff out in the world that fits that vibe. So, man, you could not have fit it any better, bro.
I'm glad we did this. This has been a lot of fun, man.
Yeah.
And it's been interesting telling. It's interesting telling that story. I'm
gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to process that one still and bring it back up to you later.
Yeah, that is going to be front and center in one of my next jokes. Awesome. Right now, one of my the new joke that you'll be seeing on the 20th. My newest new joke is called Gay Thanos.
Gay Thanos.
Yeah.
Well, that I saw on your flyer.
Yes.
So, okay.
Yeah. So I'm giving that one away. It's the first time that I'm building a joke. Is the name? So I'm Gay Thanos.
Well, you heard it here first. I'll make sure I get this episode out on your. I'll try to get it out by your birthday. I got time, right?
That'd be fantastic. Yeah, man. Time.
Yeah,
and I'll put a link of this myself on my website and everything, man.
Oh man. Yeah. Well, it's been an honor having you here.
Thank you. Likewise.
And thank you everybody again for tuning into this episode. Shit, that one's out. But I'm your host, Michael Flowers. My boy Ron Bush. We out.
Fucking Mike Flowers, nigga. Peace.